So last year, our sales team collected over $1 million in cash collected. Myself, I did over $500,000 in sales for all the offers that I was selling. And a common question that I get asked all the time is, how do you handle objections? What do you do, or what do you say when you get to the end of that call and a prospect says to you the dreaded words of, I need to think about it, or I don't make decisions like this on the call, or any kind of like self-fear talk that basically means that they're not going to buy. Right? If you watch to the end of this video, you'll see exactly how I do it, sharing the exact framework that I use for every single time that I get an objection. I'm about to share with you a call that I took towards the back end of last year, where I was able to take a prospect from this kind of self-fear, I'm not going to make a decision here, or I can't make a decision here, to paying in full, 12K sale in less than 10 minutes, right? And the reason why it's so important that you actually understand how to handle objections is because it's inevitable. Our sales team actually worked this out, and we found that every 10 sales calls, there'll be one call where you get a definitive, yes, let's do it. No objections whatsoever. That's pretty much a lay down sale. They'll have another call where a prospect will just be like outright, no, don't want to do this. No matter what you say to me, I'm not going to make a decision. And that's fine, okay? You can't have a 100% close rate. Another time, a prospect will just be unqualified, right? So you may have fucked up your discovery at the beginning of the sales call, or they shouldn't have even been on the sales call in the first place, right? And they'll be unqualified. But the remaining 7 out of 10 times, you will get an objection. It is inevitable. Now, what's interesting is that the quality of those objections, if you do everything right beforehand, before you get to the price drop, the quality of the objection will be pretty low, right? You should be able to overcome it in like a matter of a few minutes. It shouldn't feel like you're pulling out teeth, and it shouldn't feel like you're selling or you're really trying to like, be a sleazy salesperson, which is a big rep that a lot of guys get. So yeah, I'm going to let the recording roll itself now. I'm going to play the recording. And I use this exact same framework for every single time I get an objection, by the way, right? So this call will show you exactly what I say when I get an objection and how I've been able to do this several times a day. And if you get to the end of this video and you're still confused on how to handle objections, or you try this out yourself and you still get the same results, just drop me a message on Instagram. I have absolutely nothing to sell you. I have no desire of selling anything at all on this channel. Nothing online or in the info product space, any coaching or anything like that anytime soon. So drop me a message there and I'll see how I can help. And they just come on in and they gung ho. So you can get in today for 11,997 and we'll get you going and pushing those 10K months from that. Are you ready to start?
I couldn't make a decision that big today. Or I mean, now I'd have to think about it for a bit for sure. But wow, yeah. I thought the guy on the call before, he said one of the stages was $4,000. What is the $4,000 one?
Yeah, so that's just our packages, right? So
Hmm.
we've got most clients who typically pay in full, but we understand that, for everyone who doesn't necessarily have the full amount to hand, then we have some flexibility in working around how we can break that up, right? So just a quick check for you there. Is it a case, Garrett, where you have the full amount, but it's just a little uncomfortable to put down, or is it that you have like some but not all?
I've got the full amount. Um, but yeah, it would just be a matter of wondering if there's a better deal, if one of the other deals would fit better or something, be more economical about it.
Right. Well, I want to, before we even get on to finances, I'm curious, based on what we've gone through, do you feel like this process can actually work for you and get you to those 10K months? Because that's the most
Hmm.
important thing, right?
Right, right. If it could, then yeah, there's no concern at all, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess it is just my worry of follow through on my end, being able to follow through, and the like 2 or 3 months into it, not feeling like I'm super committed, overcommitted to something that I'm then wanting to adjust somehow or something. This hopefully would be what I'd ultimately want, right? I can't imagine a more adaptable
The, the thing
process
is,
to what I'm trying to do. But
the thing is, Gary, if I can share my perspective with you
mm,
here, is that that is the reason why you're here. And I can't imagine that you would have had a call with us and also given me an hour of your time here if you wasn't committed. So that commitment is there, right? We're gonna give you that 60, 70% of handholding and support to make sure you
yeah,
have
yeah,
need to succeed. That remaining 30, 40% on your end, that's just really executing on the plan and everything we're gonna set up for you. Do you feel like that is something that you can do?
oof, yeah. It scares me because I've bailed on so many things over time, but then it's I'm glad that I did most of the time because it was going because then my plans do fully shift over the next number of months and everything. Um, I feel like this is the the direction, but I'm technically bipolar, so I have to be very careful about being excited about something and going ham on something. So yeah, geez, wow.
Yeah, and just in terms of the
People would freak out.
just in
Hmm.
terms of the commitment side as well, there, Garrett. Just in terms of everything we're doing on our end, we're not going to ask you to climb Mount Everest here, right? We're not going to ask you
Hmm.
to
Right,
mountains and dedicate yourself for hours to each day. All we are going to ask for is for you to just show up and commit, at the very least an hour or two every single
right,
day
right,
or every other day, right, to really execute on the plan. So it's not going to be something where you are going to be in this really intensive fire process, right? Because that's why you've come to
right,
us
right,
to get out of that. So us setting this up for you is the solution for that. It's just whether you feel confident that we are the right ones to do that, because that's why you're here and that's why you've also been
right,
looking around for other mentors, right? So do you feel like
right.
on through that again, we can be the right ones to help alleviate that from you?
Um, I think you can. You do sound, I mean, it sounded like it all makes sense. I can't really imagine a better system, I guess, besides a lower price point. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's not it's mainly just a matter of like timing, right? Of just deciding.
Yeah.
Like my sister invested she did a similar thing. She borrowed like I think like 20K from my parents, which they don't have that kind of money at all, like on any level, and invested in like a writing core thing that was just gonna carry her into writing books and all this stuff. She's still in debt to them for that, and never finished it and followed through and all that. Like that's, whew, it's scary. Um,
It is scary. And can I share another perspective with you here, Garrett?
yeah.
So in terms of timing, it's interesting because there is no such thing as the perfect time, right? Like, is now the only time in your life where you've had health troubles?
Oh God, no.
No. And do you think that moving forwards in the future, you're also going to have health troubles like you've been having that right now and in the past?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to continue to exist, right? You're always going to be working on your health. You've been doing that before this point, you're doing it now, and you're going to do so in the future, right? So there is never
Mm,
going to be that perfect time where the stars align for you and you're able to
right.
commit, right? All that's going to take is for you to just take that one step forward right now and
Mm.
trust yourself to make it work. So, would you say that it's worth it for you to commit to actually growing this business to that 10K a month goal whilst having your health in the condition that it is now? Is it worth it for you to do that?
Well, I guess maybe that's the concern is the scale that remember when we asked the numbers, I mainly went with a conservative 2000 would be the comfortable move to make it. That's probably the main
You,
misalignment that we're
you
really feeling at all is
yeah, and to be frank, I don't want you to be comfortable, right? I do want you
sure, yeah,
to push yourself and aim high and have that belief in yourself and also us to get
right.
there, right? And
That's the other question that I keep having hit me, I guess, that I'm being faced with is, do you really believe in, in
yeah,
what you
well,
put out and what you're saying and all this stuff for me that like that especially I guess that bipolar again, we all go through the same exact things, just slightly more extreme for me, but that it's like my work can sound and look so bad to me from like a bad vantage point and looking into it and just turning away and whatever, like it looks about as bad to me,
yeah.
but
You
then
are,
just
and I understand your situation completely, and everyone does go through that process. You're right, but it doesn't
mm,
mean that it's impossible for you to actually have a process, follow a process that works,
right,
and get to those
right,
goals. You having, these traits aren't going to stop you from making money and getting to where
yeah,
you want to be. And just in terms of the belief, another thing I'll mention there, like, it's never going to be a 100%. Like, you're never going to be 100% sure on something, right? Even if we put a gun to someone's head, there is still not a 100% chance that person will buy, right? It's always
right,
it's always a 70-80%, right? A combination of your yeah, part of it is your belief in yourself and also your belief in us, and the other 30-20% is just that unknown that exists with every decision that we make, right?
then I'm gonna start doing this to other people. This is contagious. You're trying to make me start doing these exact things with other people and putting pressure on them.
Yeah, and
That's
if you really want to help people, you understand that it's not just pressure, right? It's actually helping you make the best decision for you,
right,
the best decision for Garrett, right? And there's going to be people who you get on calls with
right,
who are going to be in this exact situation, who they're going to believe
right.
your process, and they know that you
Oh
can help them
man,
and they want this, but they're ultimately going to have that level of uncertainty and fear. So if you
yeah,
overcome that yourself, how can you coach and help other people do the same?
right, right. Oh man, it's honestly tripping me out. I'm seeing so many parallels with how this whole process is working and everything. Like this is crazy. But yeah, no, I think you got me. I
Right.
think
Okay.
yeah,
You
man.
ready to do this?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.